Alex. Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to say that I'm covering Lies of P today. I'm going to be showing footage of the first 3 bosses, so if you're the kind of person that wants to avoid every single spoiler, then you should probably turn this video off. That said, we aren't really going very deep into the game. The first 3 chapters are what I would consider the prologue of the game, not really the meat of the thing, and we're not really going to be talking about lore. The lore in this game isn't the focal point, it's more like an excuse to bring a video game character into a steampunky environment for the design aesthetic. Surprise, surprise. It's pretty fun, though, to be in this dreamt-up world of puppets at the turn of the 19th century. Of course, I'm biased, especially because when I was young, I guess my favorite movie was Pinocchio. There's a story of me watching that movie something like 50 times in a row one week, or at least that's what my dad says. But enough about me. Anyway, if you're worried about me spoiling the story, don't. I feel like everyone knows what this game is about. It's souls with creepy puppets. Enough said. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about the lore anymore. I just want to talk about the combat and how it feels as compared to Remnant 2, of course, because that's the game that has captured my heart recently. And what I want to know is whether I'm going to be playing this game anymore. I'm putting this video out there to see what kind of feedback I get, but also I just want to share some thoughts about it with you all. And the long and short of it is that it's good. I mean, is it really, really good? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in the game yet. Probably it is. I'm a little bit spoiled right now because I'm coming off a game that I really played to death, and I'm going to continue playing it. I'm going to continue producing content and making builds and just kicking ass in Remnant 2 as much as I possibly can. Like being at the point in a game where you're seeing hitless runs of the hardest bosses in the game at the hardest difficulty level. It's really tough going from that feeling of power to just being a tiny little puppet fighting against giant, creepy, weird robot monstrosities in some place called Krot. But what can I say? This is a Souls-like. I mean, the parries, or the perfect guards as they're called in this game, they feel very good, and the attack patterns are reminiscent of Souls-like games in general. I'm still very early on in the game, like I said. I have barely made it through chapter 3, so this is kind of like a first impressions type chat that we're having right now. I picked the path of the Bastardo, I think. So it's a dexterity focused character, but I think that stat is called technique in this game. Strength, of course, is called motivity, which is a little bit misleading if you ask me. Sounds like dexterity too, but as long as you remember that it's all mechanical speak, I suppose that kind of makes sense, like motivity. My favorite weapons so far in the game right now are the rapier and the boost glaive. I've been having minimal success with the modular system of combining blades and hilts, but as far as I can tell, as long as you can match the motion type of the blade and the handle, then you will see benefits that are better than the sum of their parts. So there are icons for slashing and stabbing, and as long as you match those icons, then you're going to see a little bit more of a scaling bonus. Okay, so that brings me to the scaling bit. That's probably the best part of this. You can alter the scaling of weapons by playing around with the handles and the blades and creating your own custom weapons, which is very cool. If you're into that sort of thing, then you'll have a bunch of fun with it. I've been enjoying it a lot because I like build variety. I think that's obvious. I was just always bummed that as a Dex and Arcane build, like in Elden Ring, I couldn't really play with a bunch of weapons that I wanted to try out unless I respec everything, and that's just a pain in the ass, as we all know, unless you're modding or something like that. So yeah, there was no way that I was going to take the time to do that. This is yet another thing that I think Remnant just totally wins on. You know, the developers, they totally responded to the community when the community said, look, we want to try other builds. They said, okay, we'll just make it free for you. I really like that. I think that that's good. That's kind of, yeah, this is the way. Anyway, there are just a few things that I do want to warn people who may be starting this game out about. First of all, do not allow yourself to get backed into a corner by these enemies, because you cannot roll your way through someone, and there is a serious issue with the camera in this game. It is going to go absolutely batty on you when you are near an obstruction. I guarantee that everyone is going to find themselves in a situation where they will be pounding their fists on the table because they accidentally got pushed into a wall, and then all of a sudden you can't see shit, and then you're dead. So just fair warning on that. Also, the movement in this game is not fluid, or at least as compared to Remnant and Elden Ring, it's not. It just feels clunky. The roll animation is pitiful compared to other games, and honestly, the first thing I spec'd into was a double roll, and it feels just as powerless as a single roll, so yeah, maybe just go for more offensive buffs when you unlock your P organs at the end of Chapter 2, which are your upgrades in this game. Neo is telling us that The perfect guard is actually, can I just say, like, Lies of P and NeoWiz is quite a pair of names. Anyway, they're telling us the perfect guard is going to be your source of defense, so the sooner you're executing those well, then the better you'll be. I believe that sluggish character is totally intentional, so yeah. Don't be like me and try to be as mobile in this game as Remnant 2. Yeah. Alright, just a few other things I want to get off my chest. Bosses, they be taking forever. These things have bars, let me tell you. At least for the early game, when you don't really have any build options, the gameplay loop is literally guard, counter, guard, counter, guard, counter, guard, counter, until you're blue in the face, or they are, whichever comes first. Additionally, this game has a very, very frustrating tendency to rob you of your free stagger hits. You'll be standing on the little red glowing zone that they direct you to, and the fatal blow will not activate. That's right. Pretty frequently, it doesn't work. Like, 1 out of 12 is a bad egg somehow. So, fair warning there too. This shit makes me want to kill someone and break things. Okay, so those are my little tips warnings, but what I really want to say about this game is that you should not be expecting to hear cues when attacks are imminent. And this is the one quality that makes Remnant 2 just so much better than this in terms of like boss design. I feel like when you're playing Remnant and you're in the zone, you could just close your eyes and let the audio cues lead you wherever you need to go. When I figured out the cues for Annihilation, I can't tell you how happy I was. Like, it was such a good feeling. It was like I was in the secret club. I knew the secret handshake or whatever. Like, me and the big root dragon had a covenant. We had an agreement between each other. Like, I'm gonna kill you forever unless I make this sound. And you dodge. And then everything is cool between us just for a moment. I'm like, I'm your friend for a second, you know? But in Lies of P, it's just like, I hate you and I want to kill you. It's a good difficulty curve. I like it, you know? Like, I like having to flex and learn new things in a video game. But that perfect guard window is pretty tight. Anyway, let me know in the comments, are you playing this game? What do you think of this game? What kind of content do you want to see us cover in this channel? Okay, so last thing I will say about this Lies of P, it really has a want to play. Like, I want to go back in there. I want to have another crack at these motherfuckers because they are pissing me off, all right? So I'm going to finish this up and get back in there. Thank you so much for watching the video. I have the most gratitude for every single one of you. That's enough out of me this time. Keep farming, everybody. Ha ha ha.